welcome and welcome back for those of you who have been out for a while. We're going to have a really interesting subject now, and that's nuclear medicine. And for this, I have an excellent moderator. You should give him a warm hand. He's the Vice President for Strategy at LEMER, Christophe Selliez. Welcome up on stage. Give him a warm hand. And you have some great speakers today, I know. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. It's my pleasure and honor to open this panel dedicated to the nuclear medicine. We have today with us Dr. Konrade von Bremen. She is Vice President of the Nuclear Medicine European Industry Association. More specifically, Konrade is in charge of the European affairs there. She is also the co-founder and CEO of SWAN Isotopen, a company dedicated at radiopharmaceuticals supply. Konrade is originally a medicine doctor with vast experience in nuclear medicine applications. Welcome, Konrade. Now we have, yes, please sit. You can sit here. Nicolas Mario is originally a nuclear engineer. He has specialized in nuclear medicine with involvement in the projects in the radionuclide industry. Now, Nicolas is head of the nuclear medicine BU at NucAdvisor. Nicolas strongly supports the nuclear medicine, feasibility studies, assessments, and market intelligence. Now we have Dr. Vincent Lebon. Please, Vincent, come. Vincent is originally both an engineer and a medicine doctor. He has soon focused on the research sector in nuclear medicine. He is now head of the Department of the Fundamental Research at the CA, deputy head at the CEA. He is also head of the Biomaps Research Department at the Paris-Saclay University and head of the Graduate School of Life Science and Health of the Paris-Saclay University. Thank you, Vincent. And we have also today Ludovic Devos. Ludovic is originally a nuclear engineer with a significant experience in the industry sector, first at Orano in several fuel cycle projects. Then he joined FRAMATOME in 2016, where he managed international projects. He is now leading the installed base industrial department at FRAMATOME Healthcare. Thank you all of you for sharing with us your ideas. And a short introduction I wanted to make. The idea of using radioactivity for health applications is not new. Indeed, we can find a number of examples from the early years. Considering more specifically the nuclear medicine of today, the first significant application was certainly the use of iodine-131 in the 50s in the US by Professor Hamilton, followed by the same in France by Professor Toubiana, both in the battle against thyroid cancer. Nowadays, it is nothing to say that nuclear medicine is in a bubbling and amazing situation with the emergence of new molecules, new curing strategies. These are subject to huge challenges in terms of safety, infrastructure and equipment, material sourcing, and funding. So, there, Konrade. Please share with us your views of the nuclear medicine and more specifically, the targeted diagnosis and therapy. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Christophe. It's a pleasure for me to be here. It's the first time that I speak in front of nuclear engineers as an MD. I would like today to introduce you to the fascinating world of nuclear medicine and to what has been happening in the last years, what will be the developments, and what challenges are facing our healthcare systems with this new success of nuclear medicine. So, what is nuclear medicine? Nuclear medicine has been recognized only in the 60s as a real medical specialty. And in general, it is a small service in a big hospital. nuclear medicine physicians have one real privilege. They are the only ones allowed to inject radioactive materials, so radiopharmaceuticals, into patients. I am, as an internist, I'm not allowed. And only until recently, the departments of nuclear medicine were really situated in the basement of the hospitals and were service providers with imaging radiology departments. Only this was true until hybrid imaging with PET-CT technology started to make the hospitals more lucrative for nuclear medicine. And since then, management got interested in nuclear medicine. And this only at the beginning of the century. Well, what can nuclear medicine do? Nuclear medicine can show metabolic processes which radiology cannot show. So nuclear medicine can only be applied to living individuals and not to the dead. So we're using radioactive substances, and unlike imaging techniques, the focus is on, we're focusing on anatomical structure. Nuclear medicine highlights metabolic activity, blood flow, and biochemical processes to diagnose cancer, to diagnose and monitor diseases. So I would like to show you the first radiopharmaceutical, which was really the blockbuster for many, many years. This is glucose, sugar. Fluor-18, radioactive. Deoxyglucose, or FDG, was the first fat radiopharmaceutical used for tumor detection. Why? Because it's increased glucose metabolism of tumor cells which have an accelerated growth. So, very simple. You inject FDG, it distributes to the whole body, and then it locates in the tumor and in the metastasis. This is the machine, the PET-CT or TEP in France. And here you can see the red flushes there where the lymph nodes are affected by tumors. This is how you see a PET-CT. I would like to introduce you briefly. You are used to nuclear energy. We are producing radiopharmaceuticals, radioactive pharmaceuticals, but with the help of a cyclotron, a medical cyclotron, 18 MeV medical cyclotron, which is in our basement. And at midnight, our operators start to beam, and 2 hours of cyclotron time is needed, 1 half-life, 2 hours half-life of fluor-18 to produce the enough for one batch of FDG. It needs to be synthesized, controlled, etc. And to get a radiopharmaceutical to the patient, it needs to be on the road at 5 o'clock in the morning or even earlier. This can only be made while people are working at night, for sure, but also because the product is not yet recognized or not yet released as a pharmaceutical. So this is a race against the time. And if you consider, after 2 hours, we only have 50% of our product. And after 10 hours, which is the shelf life of the product, there's only 1.4% left over. Now I would like to start to talk about diagnostics. It's a little difficult word because it has therapy and diagnostics included. Because here we apply the same approach for diagnostics and for therapy. You see the radioactive particle of radioisotope, which is linked to a targeted ligand. First of all, in diagnostics, this is used, for example, fluorine, could be gallium-68, or could be later on also something else. And the patient is diagnosed in the PET scanner because the radiopharmaceutical is linked directly to the tumor cell, to the surface marker of the tumor cell. So, and if you use it for therapy, you change the radioisotope to a radioisotope with higher activity and with a longer half-life of 7 days. The currently used and recognized radiopharmaceutical is lutetium-177. How does this look like at the very end? Well, like diagnosis. The radioligand therapy accumulates in the tumor cells. And here you can see on the right side the PSMA, so prostate-specific antigen, in the cancer patient, which is highly metastasized. You see all the black dots. These are all metastases before a treatment with PSMA-targeted therapy. After 4 cycles, it has already become much lighter, and after 2 cycles, here, this patient, luckily, was practically free of cancer. These kind of therapies and these kind of images convinced the medical community, the oncologists, and the policymakers. So here are some other images, just to show you how this might look like. A PET, you see in the pelvic bone, yellow light. This is clearly a bone metastasis. Some others. And here we come to the challenges this huge innovation and opportunity for cancer therapy has shown with radioligand therapy. It really has revolutionized nuclear medicine and give an innovation boost to oncology. But here we have to look at the healthcare system. What does this mean for the hospitals, for the hospital setups? We need radioprotection for inpatients, because these patients in majority of the countries, at least in Europe, are hospitalized. We need shielded rooms. We have to take care of wastewater, because they obviously, excrete the radioisotope. And we need decay tanks. But most importantly, we need specialized personnel, nurses, technicians, and doctors. So all this is the challenge of nuclear medicine in a high innovative environment. So today, implementing new therapy worldwide and giving access, which is our intention, access to all eligible patients, is a real challenge and can hardly be guaranteed, even in the majority of the Western countries. Now, I would like to show you this groundbreaking innovation is taking place in cancer therapy. And Nuclear Medicine Europe, the industry association, has provided the lay community as well as the medical community with this IGEA, we call it. You see the IGEA site, and shows how many isotopes can be used in diagnosis and therapy. And you can even use it in different languages, so take the site. The nuclear medicine industry sector is a big sector, and the association is covering this. And it is the only association taking care of as the majority of industries, and they're all involved in radioactivity. Our challenge is to ensure full compliance with the contradicting regulations governing radioprotection and pharmaceutical production standards. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Konrade. This is creating a lot of hopes in the community. It is clear that there is a strong strategy in the war against cancer. That is clear. Now, dear Nicolas, can you please tell us what means nuclear medicine in terms of a specific infrastructure and equipment, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thanks to all of you that are actually attending the session, because I see more and more people coming, even if it's lunchtime. So, as mentioned earlier by Konrade, nuclear medicine already experienced several evolutions as a discipline. You've understood the important impact that it already has in cancer treatments. But what is also important, I believe, is to acknowledge the promising evolutions that we expect in the near future. So, through the successive market entry of drugs against neuroendocrine tumors and prostate cancer, nuclear medicine therapeutic drugs now already represent 25% of this market. And this share is expected actually to grow over the next decade. We have tens of molecules under active clinical development to address multiple types of cancer, solid tumors, breast cancer, brain cancer, and many others. And the global industry, that's to say the molecules, it already represents $11 billion market, and this could be multiplied by up to 4 over the next decade. But most importantly, because it's not only a matter of money, this could translate into hundreds of thousands of patients that could benefit in the future from both diagnostic and treatment advances. But this will require to improve access to these treatments, both from a clinical side with more room of practitioners, as mentioned by Konrade, but also from the supply side. And as the radiopharmaceuticals have quite complex supply chain, I would like to spend a few minutes on that. So, in a nutshell, radiopharmaceuticals need radionuclides, which are generally produced through the irradiation source material in accelerator or research reactors. But let me guide you all quickly through what is a typical supply chain in nuclear medicine. So, as many other industries, nuclear medicine also relies on very specific source material, most of them coming from the mining industry. Sometimes there is standard material, zinc, nickel, but also some specific ones like ytterbium or even uranium for some cases. But this source material cannot be directly used for producing radionuclides, as it generally contains different isotopes of the same element. Thus, the industry relies on enrichment players, such as Orano or Urenco in Europe, to provide enriched product up to 99.9% of a single isotope. And this is really essential because this will prevent unwanted reactions to happen during the irradiation that could lead to subproduct that could ultimately impact the quality of the harvested radionuclides. So different enrichment techniques are used, from centrifugation to electromagnetic separation, as for the nuclear industry. And then after that, the targets are prepared. And they are irradiated in different types of facilities, research reactors, small proton accelerators, cyclotrons, or even power reactors, now with CANDU. But I will let maybe my colleague from FRAMATOME explain you that in more depth. And once these targets have been irradiated sufficiently, it can be a matter of hours or days, then the real race against the clock can start. And because of the radioactive decay, as you understood, the industrial players must perform all the separation, purification, and drug manufacturing as fast as possible. And again, depending on the complexity of the process and whether it's global or local, it can be a matter of hours. A batch of FDG can take a few hours, but a lutetium-based molecule can take days from the end of irradiation to the injection to the patient. And along these supply chains, the players will face the same challenges as the one of the nuclear industry. That's to say radioactive transport, radiation protection, waste management, and many others. And we already have many players actually that are putting their competency at the service of the nuclear medicine industry, so that's great. So I briefly mentioned the production of lutetium-177 drugs, but let's dive into this specific example so that you can all understand the complexity associated with such a supply chain. So let's take the example of Pluvicto, the Novartis therapeutic drug for prostate cancer. In the case of lutetium, it all starts with ytterbium-176, which can only be enriched through electromagnetic enrichment. Historically, these enrichment capabilities are relics of early uranium enrichment programs, and until very recently, the only supply, and which was quite a limited one, was coming from Russia. Now supply is starting to diversify. We have new players operating small MEs that started to grow in Canada. And this ytterbium is, for example, purchased by ITM, a German player that manufactures the targets that are later sent for irradiation into multiple facilities, research reactors, IHFR in the Netherlands, BR2 in Belgium, Missouri University Research Reactor in the US, or even CANDU reactor in Canada. These targets are irradiated during roughly 1 week in the case of lutetium production, and then shipped back to Germany in ETM processing facility, and then all the separation and purification process is made. And a player like Novartis, who's actually purchasing this purified lutetium chloride, has multiple radiolabeling facilities across the world. And this product can be shipped, for example, to Italy or to the US to manufacture Pluvicto doses that are after that sent to all the different hospitals across the world. So you understand that any interruption in this process will inevitably translate into shortages or treatment cancellation. So this is really a race against the clock where any failure will have direct impact. But I mean, different models of supply chain exist, from global to local ones, on-site production versus centralized one outside of hospital. And in the end, what often dictates the supply chain approach remains the radionuclide itself. So let's speak very quickly of radionuclide supply. And especially all the nuclear medicine industry can access to such a wide range of radionuclides. So I suppose that in a congress like WNE, such a table will speak to many of you. So in a nutshell, radionuclide production is basically using nuclear physics. In order to produce the right radionuclide, we have a wide range of tools or reaction, let's say, using neutrons, protons, photons, alpha particles, and many others. And so while radionuclide production remains a matter of research reactors and cyclotrons in the past, using their neutrons or proton beam capabilities, very recently we are starting to see more and more new manufacturing routes emerging, innovative one. I spoke about production in CANDU reactors, but we also have now projects for production in fusion-driven facilities, new type of accelerators, rotatrons, which are electron accelerators, opening several new production routes. And in the end, it's really a matter of finding the most efficient way to produce a radionuclide in large quantities, at affordable price, and with the right purity and through, of course, a reliable supply chain. So because of time constraint, I won't go beyond this introduction. So I hope that this example highlighted for you the links and the similarities that exist between nuclear medicine industry and power industry, because really nuclear medicine has a lot to offer in the future, and extra support will be needed at all levels. So it's really a pleasure to see that nuclear industry is mobilizing in this field. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicolas. Now, dear Vincent, can you please tell us about the ongoing research efforts in nuclear medicine, please?
Okay, thank you very much, Christophe. So I think after the very nice presentations by Konrade and Nicolas, we are now all convinced that nuclear medicine underwent a real revolution over the last years, a medical revolution, an industrial revolution. And for the patient, I think we can put it a very simple way. What does it mean for the patient? It means millions of lives saved, millions of lives extended, and millions of lives which quality has been improved by nuclear medicine. So I think it's really a simple message, but that I wanted to share with you as a nuclear medicine physician. The good news is I think we can go further and we can still improve in the forthcoming years what has been done. And what does it mean in practice? It means improving the specificity, the sensitivity of the diagnosis approaches that are based on nuclear medicine, but also on the therapeutic innovations using radioactive nuclei. I believe there are three major pillars that we may improve or play with or develop to improve this specificity and this sensitivity of our nuclear medicine approaches. The first one is something that has been developed by Konrade, developing new tracers, new radio tracers for diagnosis and therapy. And this little sketch here this little figure here, I think illustrates the diversity of the molecule that we can develop. I think there are no limitations to this innovation and to development. Or the only one limitation is the creativity of chemists and radiochemists. And you can believe me, chemists have a lot of creativity when it comes to build up new molecules, to develop new ligands, and new chemistry, and organic chemistry has also underwent very impressive developments and innovation over the last decades. And I think it really is a key point, innovation and creativity in chemistry to develop new molecules. It's a very dynamic field of research. The second pillar to improve the way nuclear medicine takes care of our patients is the development of new cameras, of new scanners, new detectors for PET and SPECT scanners. Currently, the time resolution, the spatial resolution of those detectors clearly is about typical spatial resolution of a PET system is like 3-4 millimeters. So there is room to improve this a lot. And I would just mention an example of this very dynamic research area, which was much more in the hands of physicists and medical physicists. It's the 10 picosecond challenge, which I will not go into detail, but this mobilizes large research communities in the area of medical physics. And the idea of this challenge is to provide PET scanners, PET cameras with considerably improved sensitivity and resolution. The third pillar for improving the way nuclear medicine takes care of our patients is the integration of other modalities, of other data, like for example, integrating multimodal imaging in our diagnosis approach. Konrade said, and I think she was absolutely right, that nuclear medicine can see things that radiology does not see, which is absolutely true. But I think we must keep in mind that also radiology can also see things that nuclear medicine does not see. So the best world is a world where we combine radiology and nuclear medicine. It's the typical example of a hybrid imaging with PET-CT that has been developed for decades now. But a more recent version of this hybrid imaging is combining PET and MRI imaging. But we could also consider integrating other patient data to improve our diagnosis. So I think this idea of integrating what we call sometimes heterogeneous data integration to improve diagnosis is also another pillar from which we gain in terms of performance for our nuclear medicine. I could add up a fourth pillar, which could be artificial intelligence. I did not add up this fourth pillar here. It's a large field of research in medical imaging and in nuclear medicine. I did not add a specific pillar simply because artificial intelligence already brings significant contributions to each of those three pillars. Clearly, artificial intelligence contributes to screening new radiotracers, to screening new radioligands and molecules. Artificial intelligence also contributes to developing new detectors for PET scanners. We now have generations of detector embedded artificial intelligence to improve the detection performance. And also we use now a lot of deep learning algorithm and approaches for analyzing our images or combining different kind of images. So here is for oncology, but I would like just to finish up with all the benefits that medicine in general could take from nuclear medicine beyond oncology. We've been talking a lot of oncology, which is a major therapeutic area for nuclear medicine, but there are also other disciplines, other areas where nuclear medicine can really make the difference. And I will finish up with neurology. As you know, neurological disease, neurodegenerative disease are major health issues with the aging of the population. We face the difficulty of a limited number of efficient drugs for neurodegenerative disease. So there really is an issue of properly diagnosing disease for an organ which you cannot biopsy. And clearly, the new molecules developed by nuclear medicine now make it possible to perform really precision neurology in a sense that really to diagnose accurately the kind of degenerative disease that the patient is having. Here is an example of images obtained in one patient. What we see here is an image that shows the concentration of tau aggregates, which is a protein that aggregates in the brain of some patients who have dementias, including in Alzheimer's disease. And clearly, clinically speaking, there is no way to properly stratify dementia, which means to properly be sure that a patient has Alzheimer's dementia or other kind of dementias. There is a strong limitation for proper clinical trials that are the basis of development new therapeutic. And now there is not a single clinical trial to test new molecules for Alzheimer's without this PET scan procedure, without tau imaging using PET scan. So we're quite far from having efficient molecules. We're quite far from being able to cure those diseases. But the possibility to properly stratify patients for clinical trials clearly brings hope to neurology and to this field. And I think it's a very nice prospect for nuclear medicine too. And I'm happy to finish my talk on this nice prospect with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vincent. From a research to industry, there is a big challenge. FRAMATOME is there a major player. Please, Ludovic, tell us more.
Thank you, Christophe. So, anyway. So I think in his presentation, Nicolas highlighted very well two things which are very important for nuclear medicine. First is the growth of the market. And the second point is the complexity of the supply chain with a lot of shipping to the different steps of the process. And in FRAMATOME, we are obviously expert company in designing, implementing very complex nuclear technologies. We are running facilities, and we were convinced that we could bring to the market the capacity which is needed to make the supply chain for nuclear medicine robust, resilient, reliable. And this is very important because you could have the best drugs in the world, but in the end, if you are not able to guarantee that it will be delivered on time to the patient, this drug will not be used. So it is our duty as the industry actors to give this insurance to the patients, to the hospitals, to the physicists, that they will get the drugs they need in time. Okay, and to do that, so we rely on obviously the huge experience we have gained in nuclear energy, and I think we are making a strong link between nuclear energy and nuclear medicine. It's really closely linked. And we have several activities. The first one, which is the historic one we had, is CERCA. I don't know if you know CERCA, but CERCA is the main player on the market to supply fuel for the research reactors. And as it was very well explained by my colleagues, research reactors today play a key role in supplying the radioisotopes needed for the nuclear medicine. So CERCA is supplying fuel, and CERCA is also manufacturing and supplying targets which are used, so Moly 99 targets which are used for the technetium 99 diagnosis, which is, I guess, one of the most used treatment around the world in the hospitals. So this was I would say, basis activity. It was well in place, and we thought we can do more than that. And that's where we thought, okay, maybe nuclear reactors, not research reactors, but power reactors, and experts in civil nuclear energy like Framatome can also play a role for some other bricks. And we've decided to enter the market to bring additional capacities on different segments. So first, we are targeting beta emitters, and the short-term needs on the market, and it was highlighted with Pluvicto, is lutetium. So we decided to start with lutetium. And so the project we have launched and the one which are in the making are focused around production of lutetium in power reactors. But we know that there will be some other coming, and it was also very well shown by my colleagues. And for instance, we expect terbium-161 to come also on the market. And the good news is that it's more or less the same systems can be used to produce the two, either lutetium or terbium. So it means that once we have the production means in place in reactors, we will be using them to produce a range of isotopes. The only thing we need to do is to update the safety case. So it's some engineering work, but it's not rocket science. And then in parallel to this work, which is focused on using power reactors, we are also launching a partnership to produce alpha emitters, so, namely astatine 211, using accelerators. There is one thing here which is not mentioned, because the primary focus was not nuclear medicine. I think earlier today we signed an agreement with EDF to produce cobalt-60 in a power reactor in France. So the main, which is a gamma emitter, the main target for these will be the sterilization facilities, but it could also be used potentially in nuclear medicine. So I will focus on lutetium, which is for the time being one of the star products on the market. So the story began in Canada. It was on Nicolas' slide. Together with Bruce Power and our partner Kinetrix, we decided to start mass production of lutetium in a CANDU reactor in Canada. So the Unit 7 of Bruce facility in Canada, in Ontario. And for that, we are using our technology. We have developed a technology. So basically, you add in the reactor core, in the calandria of the reactor, you add a tube, and you use this tube to introduce targets. They stay in the core, it was said by Nicolas, around a week. And then you retrieve it, it's irradiated, and we ship it to ITM in Germany. So this technology has been successfully implemented. We started commercial production in October 2022. And now we are, in the past years, we have been increasing the capacity because the market is growing. And also, we have been installing, we are currently working on installing a second system on the second unit, Unit 6 at Bruce. But if you have one reactor producing lutetium, you are not completely solving the issue of reliability and resilience, because many things can happen. You can have a technical issue at the reactor. I mean, a country could decide to phase out nuclear. It happened in some countries. And also something which was not mentioned, but you have a geopolitical risk. And we see also a lot of countries and regions looking for sovereignty. And so it means we need to address these issues. And for that, the plan we have is to build a network of production centers, a network of reactors, which will be used to supply the market in complement to research reactors, which are still needed. And it's not one against the other. It's really together supplying the isotopes needed to feed the growth, which was highlighted by Nicolas. So we are building a network. We have signed last month an agreement in Romania with Nuclear Electrica to install a system at Cernavoda Unit 2. And we are in advanced discussions with NASA in Argentina to install a system at Embalse. And with this, we will have the possibility to be robust and to give to commit on deliveries to the industry. And of course, one challenge will be, so there will be redundant capacity, and we need to make sure that this overcapacity, which is needed by the market, does not lead to too serious a drop in price, because I mean, we need, in the end of the day, to recoup the investment needed to do this project. And the other challenge is processing, because we are producing quantities which are much higher than with the research reactors. So it means the processors down the process, and it was also on Nicolas' presentation, the GMP processor, they need to have the scale available to treat our material. And last word for me, so on alpha emitters, astatine, I hope we will soon be able to communicate more actively on this project. So we have a partnership with the Belgian company IBA, which is the leader on the market for cyclotrons, accelerators. And so we are launching a pilot facility near Nantes, in Saint-Herblain, where there is a strong ecosystem for nuclear medicine. And the plan is to start producing astatine 211 in a couple of years. And then, because it's a very short-lived isotope, we will need similar facilities on the markets we want to serve, which are most likely Europe and North America. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ludovic. As a closing remark, I may add some words. The first thing I want to underline that I am personally feeling that there is a full team now in the nuclear medicine, and moreover, a team spirit that I was feeling, and I am now more feeling. This is crucial, because this is needed if we want to win this war against cancer. Secondly, I would like to thank warmly the GIFEN, this expo, and as you may have seen, that GIFEN has created this BEE space at the entrance, where nuclear medicine is highlighted. This is, to my knowledge, the first time. And also we were able to talk today on nuclear medicine. It is a little bit strange in WNE, but I would think it will not be so strange in the future editions. Warm thanks to Christophe Poussard. He don't like I highlight him, but I know he is there. He has done a lot for this during the past months, and thank you very much, Christophe. Christophe has allowed me to give today a double announcement concerning the GIFEN and Nuclear Valley. These two associations will set initiatives for supporting the coordination efforts between users and suppliers, innovation, research and development, the supply chain, and hospitals. And this is clearly in view of moving together as a team towards a victory against cancer. Finally, warm thanks to the four of you. We have shared your beautiful experience and strong involvement. Thank you very much to you.
Merci beaucoup. Great, so interesting, and I'm so happy that we had a panel on this subject. And merci Christophe and the panelists. Thank you. Give them a warm hand again. Thank you. We're actually going to have a little bit of a break, and we're going to come back again at 2 o'clock with all AI in nuclear. Today and tomorrow, ensuring trust and enhancing operation. And for those of you who does not know, I don't know if you want to guess, but do you know how many people are visiting this conference? Do you think it's 10,000, 15,000, or maybe 30,000? 30,000 in 2 days. So fantastic. So let's see how many are here in, well, half an hour. I hope you guys are back. See you then. Bye-bye.